Morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know when you're watching this, but thank you for doing it. It's the morning here on our non-live show. I'm Joe, that's Jeremy. This is how we do it, baby. Alright. We have a lot to talk about. Actually, we don't have a lot to talk about, but we're going to stretch it to 20 minutes probably. We didn't really see a movie because the movies are pretty terrible except for Captain America, and that's pretty much how it's going to go the entire month of April, so strap in, and I understand if you don't go to the theater. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass it right over to the box office, and Jeremy Evans.
I will say that things should decidedly pick up in May when there's pretty much a movie worth seeing every single weekend in that month, which is, interesting because there have been like 3 movies worth seeing in all of 2014 so far. So
It's true.
It's true. Alright, so that box office. Last weekend was Easter weekend, and in the number 5 spot, we had A Haunted House 2, and that made $8.8 million. That's about half of the first one, and honestly, that's not that surprising because even the audience for these movies clearly didn't like it. The first one, it had awful legs. This one will probably be even worse. It might make like $15 million in total, but that's still 5 times its production budget, so there's money to be made. In 4th place, we had Transcendence, which debuted to $10.9 million. That is absolutely awful. That's like flop of the year contention. I guess the reviews didn't really help. Those were really bad. Just a lot of interesting concepts and ideas completely wasted, and that's disappointing. But the production budget for this one is about $100 million, so it would really, really need to go crazy overseas to not be a complete and utter failure. Okay, so number 3 was Rio. That was down 44% to $22.2 million. It has a total of $75 million. That's not a bad hold. It's not a great one. It's running behind the pace of the first Rio, and the way things are looking, it could end up around like 115, 120-ish. The number 2 spot went to Heaven is for Real, and that debuted to $22.5 million, and since opening last Wednesday, it has amassed $29.6 million. That's a very strong opening, though in some ways it's not surprising considering how Christian movies have really killed it at the box office this year. Son of God did well. God's Not Dead did well and is still doing alright. Noah had a big opening and then crashed and burned, but it had a big opening. And now this is a really solid opening for Heaven is for Real. It seems like it has responded with Christian audiences, who are pretty much the only people who are going to see something like this. So it's kind of preaching to the choir, but the choir is pretty passionate in this case. So, if this flick has decent legs, I mean, it could be looking at 80-ish million in total, and it's pretty darn good. But not as good as our number 1 movie, which is Captain America: The Winter Soldier, on top for the 3rd straight weekend. That was down 38% to $25.6 million, and a total of just over $200 million. So, I think I'm good now.
You ready?
Yeah, okay. So, that's a good hold. It's a hell of a lot better than Thor: The Dark World's hold in its 3rd weekend. That fell over 60%. Granted, it was against Catching Fire, so that's pretty big competition. But anyway, that's a good sign for Captain America's legs. as I said, it's already over 200 million, so it'll surpass Thor: The Dark World in no time. And even this weekend now, it doesn't have much competition. When Spider-Man comes along, then it's okay. Then the rug's going to be swept out from under it. That's an expression, right?
Yes.
Pulled out from
I
under
believe,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
And then thank you for the visualization.
Of course.
We should have had a rug prepared.
Clearly. And a person to stand on it.
Exactly. Anyway, but I mean, it'll have 4 weeks, an entire month of dominance, and the way things are looking, it could probably hit about 250 in total, and that's the box office.
Great stuff as always, Jeremy. Great stuff. I'm thinking, Captain America. What is sad to me is that, like the greatness of this movie will not be as well. It will be appreciated more than Iron Man 3, but it will not make more money than Iron Man 3, and exactly, not even close. And that's just sad. But that's just the way it works. People really like Iron Man, and they just flocked to see it. So
I like Iron Man. I like Robert Downey Jr., but Iron Man 3 was just
Iron Man
not a
3
good
was
movie.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, as you said, Iron Man 3 makes Iron Man 2 actually look good, which is funny.
It does.
Because
I was watching Iron Man 2 on FX a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, this actually isn't that bad. Because Iron Man 2 was disappointing initially, but Iron Man 3 literally made it better.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's kind of upsetting. I don't think Captain America is gonna make as much as I thought it would. I mean, do you think it will climb to? It won't climb to 300 million.
It's not gonna hit 300. It can hit 250,
right.
Which I think is solid. The first one made about 175, so that's really solid growth. It's a lot more than Thor, and Captain America was, he was never a high tier superhero. So I'm, judging purely by quality, yes, it should make more. Iron Man 3 made over $400 million.
Dollars?
Yes.
Well, okay, all right.
Yes. We're not using euros or francs or pesos or rupees or
Deutschmarks?
yen, Deutschmarks. Yep, definitely not using those.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, I felt like we needed that.
Yes, definitely.
But all things considered, I think it's solid, and the quality of that movie bodes well for Marvel movies, in the future, I think, and it might even help Avengers 2. So, well, not that that's gonna need help, but yeah.
See, I feel like that's the thing. I was hoping it would make like 300 mil, just because of what it did for the Marvel franchise. I feel like Marvel movies, especially after the Avengers, were kind of going downhill. With Iron Man 3, Thor 2 was better than Iron Man 3, but it was still. I think it was still lacking to a certain extent, and then this one came up, and boom, it's the best thing since the Avengers. So I think people are more into it now. I mean, people were going to go see it, but it wasn't as fresh to me. And now, with the release of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, it's made improvements. It's better, and I feel that it deserves credit at the box office for that, and I don't think the box office will completely show how good that film is. So that's my only gripe. But it's my gripe with a lot of films, actually. People see crappy movies as we're gonna see
Gravity.
Gravity, yes. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and films that we love, Transformers. I mean, that's like going to be the highest grossing film of the entire year, and it's probably going to be terrible. So
Well, Mockingjay. Well,
You think Mockingjay is going to beat out Transformers this year? You think so?
domestically, yeah.
Mm.
Not
Right.
worldwide, but
Okay.
domestically.
We'll see about that,
Okay.
Jeremy. Do you want to make a bet right now? All right. Transformers beats Mockingjay domestically, and that's Transformers: Age of Extinction.
And that's The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1.
Part 1. That's where you're gonna go down. I'm telling you. Part 1. It's yeah. You're going down. There's Dinobots.
Yeah,
There's Dinobots and Mark Wahlberg.
yeah, but there's like exploding arrows.
All right. What's the bet? What should we put on the line for this? And you guys are gonna have to wait a while. This is
Yeah,
this is assuming like
yeah,
we're still gonna have a show in a year.
Yeah, this will be when Mockingjay, closes from theaters, which might not be until like next
2015.
March. Yeah, because
exactly.
it comes out in November.
Yeah. So
we got time to think of it.
I guess we have time to think about it. So, but we have made a bet, and
that we have.
11 minutes in. Okay. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I think Heaven is for Real making that much money is pretty good.
Yeah, I'll say.
And that's surprising to me. But other than that, it's just the other things really aren't that interesting. But yeah, the part where it's the box office is going to get really interesting in May.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm wondering what movie's kind of going to be lost in the shuffle, as Star Trek Into Darkness kind of was last year.
Yeah.
Even though it ended up making like 500 million worldwide, but that was still a movie that kind of got lost in the shuffle of really good films that came out in May.
Yeah,
Or entertaining.
something in May is going to suffer. The three big blockbuster movies are The Amazing Spider-Man, Godzilla, and X-Men: Days of Future Past. One of those is, I think, going to severely fail to live up to expectations.
That's true. I don't know what do you think has the most chance of just kind of getting lost in the fray out of those three films?
That's tough. I'm tempted to say The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I think that'll be okay because it's the first one.
Right.
So it'll have its weekend to itself, and then the following weekend doesn't have any big blockbusters, and then we got Godzilla.
It's
so
true.
Or does Godzilla come out the week after? No.
I think
it's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's
it
2
comes
weeks.
out the 16th.
So I think that one will be okay. So I don't know. I think we're just gonna have to see how things shake out. The debut and reception of Godzilla will go a long way towards seeing how that will affect Days of Future Past. So.
It's true, and I mean, Godzilla. Interestingly enough, it just looks great, and everyone's just like, "Oh my god, I can't wait for Godzilla!" And I just never thought I'd hear that phrase again. But I mean, all the advertising for it looks great. So I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, May will be really exciting, and
we'll go to movies.
We'll go to movies, yeah, and we'll be able to talk about them. And also, the comedy Neighbors comes out. I think that's the 9th.
Yeah.
That's the movie. And that actually looks pretty funny, too. Although it's not going to compare to the other three films. At least I'm assuming. I'll be really upset if, like, the best movie in May ends up being Neighbors. That'll be such a letdown. But I highly doubt that'll happen.
I'm in the mood for a good comedy, though. Could definitely use some laughs.
Yeah. I mean, and that looks great. And actually, watching this, the last episode of the Screen Junkies show, the one panelist said like Neighbors was great, and he was just like,
I saw that.
Yeah, and he was like, Zac Efron just proved he could act, which doesn't make any sense to me, but I mean, I guess we'll have to see the film.
He could be pulling a Channing Tatum in
that's true.
21 Jump Street. Lots of people didn't like Channing Tatum. Oh, he's a pretty boy, he does all this, and then he's in 21 Jump Street and he's really funny.
That's true. That's very true. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. We're very excited for the month of May that we're even talking about it in April instead of talking about this weekend's films because it's just...
Which we can just breeze over.
Which we could breeze over. All right. I'm going to get my phone out, and Jeremy's actually going to remember the films that are coming out this weekend.
Maybe.
Wow, these are... Oh
yeah, there's some gems this weekend. So what do you want to start with?
Oh my god. Well, I'm going to leave the film the last that I guess I would be most interested in seeing. So, and I'll start with the least interesting.
Okay.
Well, the one I obviously wouldn't want to see would be The Quiet Ones, because it's a horror film. Stop it. Stop it. What was that? Gosh. I'm going to play that and watch that. You'll watch your face later. You wait and see. All right. So, what would you like to start with then, Jeremy?
No, we can start with Quiet Ones.
All right. The Quiet Ones. I have no interest. It's a horror film. It looks terrible, too, so...
Yeah, that's about it. It's got Finnick and Professor Moriarty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, yeah. 8 million.
Very good. Very good. I actually saw, I don't know if you saw a trailer for, but watched a trailer for, what's it called? Something Above, So Below, or something. Have you seen a trailer for that yet? I was watching a YouTube video, and, like, I just wanted to see what happened, and, like, I regretted it because it looked terrifying.
Okay.
It's kind of like The Descent.
Was it an ad before the YouTube
Yes.
video? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you use Firefox?
I use my phone.
Or Chrome? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then never mind.
Yeah, so... But that movie looks terrifying. It looks like the same thing as The Descent, actually. But, which I thought was a terrible film. But, anyway, I hate horror films, so just never listen to what I say. I'm going to say it, but just never listen to what I have to say if you like horror films. Next, we're going to go to The Other Woman, which is weird because it's about other women. Isn't it? Or
Well,
are we talking individually, there's another woman?
I guess.
I guess.
I mean, there's this dude, and he's married to,
He's Jamie Lannister.
Leslie Mann, and he's cheating on her with Cameron Diaz, and then he's cheating on both of them with Kate Upton.
Right. And then apparently there's another one, which I don't understand how you go from, like, that girl, what's her name, the first one? The wife?
Leslie Mann.
Okay, Leslie Mann,
Mm-hmm.
to Cameron Diaz, to Kate Upton. You've reached a ceiling. Like, that's... See the top of this screen? Like, that's Kate Upton. There's kind of a ceiling. So, I don't know where you go from there. But he's probably going to find his sister so he could have sex with her. And that's it. Game of Thrones reference.
Oh, okay.
You don't know. Jamie
I don't know.
Lannister's the main character. I don't know his actual name, but yes. He's probably going to find Cersei. And I won't mention any more because, the last episode was kind of crazy. People thought it was weird and, like, odd, but I kind of saw that coming. Anyway, this is a movie show, Jeremy. Stop bringing up television. All right. This doesn't look interesting unless you're, like, a woman, I guess. I don't know. Kate Upton's in it, so maybe that they're trying to get guys in it.
Yeah.
I think it's just sweat. Mm-hmm. Terrible actress. Anyway. Box office?
15.
15, alright. We've got the third film coming out, Brick Mansions, which I guess would be the film that I'd much prefer to see, as this is the last film Paul Walker did?
Yeah.
I guess? Okay.
Completed.
Or is he Tupac, and he's gonna come out with another film? Is it too soon for that joke? I don't know. I don't know yet. How much time do we have? I'm talking this show away. Anyway, I guess it's it's the American version of The Raid, I guess.
District B13 or something.
Oh, okay. I thought it was The
Yeah.
Raid.
No, that's something different. Or maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but
I think you're wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm not.
All right. We'll look it up after. We'll let you know next week. But anyway, that's Paul Walker and that guy from the rap group. Wu-Tang!
Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan. And it looks very entertaining. Anyway, we gotta go. Bye. See ya.